What popular cartoon do you hate and why? Paw Patrol is on such a low level it's offensive to the kids. Nothing makes sense in their Bulls universe. Every adult is an idiot. It's for toddlers. Family Guy. I don't know exactly why, but it just isn't funny to me and I find most of the characters incredibly annoying. Have friends that love it but I just can't stand it. The current SpongeBob SquarePants. I used to love the show up until after the first movie. SpongeBob was a more complex character. He could at times be naive, but at least he was generally well intentioned. And even when he demonstrated flaws like being overly optimistic or being obsessed with pleasing others, he seemed to learn from his mistakes by the end of the episode. Nowadays he seems to just be an annoying idiot who is completely oblivious to how difficult he makes things for others. And something I didn't realize until I was much older was how self-aware and intelligent the show used to be. Its earlier seasons are full of jokes about its own genre. It had genuinely funny commentary on capitalism, workplace culture, and greed viewed through the lens of SpongeBob, an adult who can't help but maintain a sense of childish innocence despite the very cynical environment in which he lives. Nowadays, most of the humor is derived from immature gags asking us to laugh at how stupid he is. I 100% agree with this. It went downhill in a big way, and when I heard about the Broadway musical I shook my head and wondered at the state of the art form. But then I saw it and it's like the early episodes, full of wit and nuance, self-aware, and politically on point. I'm actually working on that musical right now and I'm very proud of it. Pretty much any reboot of an old show, like Teen Titans Go or All Grown Up, Rugrats but in high school, anything like that. All Grown Up was good though. It wasn't as good as Rugrats but it was still good. Jimmy Neutron, and while it is heavy nostalgia for me, I'm unimpressed by what actually goes on in the show. The movie is great though. 4. The CGI age like fine roadkill. Ben 10, and total drama. Before you downvote, am I talking about how the show is currently? OG Ben 10 and OG Total Drama Island was pretty good. Now both of their most recent shows are made completely for children and I'll find it surprising anyone above the age of 12 would find it really entertaining. Don't hate but freaking Peppa Pig. I like the memes and like the whole thing, but Peppa is a be like white fizz for kids. She bullies her little brother and all her friends. Also, the theories. One of them is that Peppa isn't the first child and she has an older sister who was born with a disability and the first Peppa had been locked the basement by their dad and forgotten. Like, why the living heck is this show for kids so bratty and why'd people make it so dark? I scrolled too far to find Peppa Pig. Obnoxious, selfish and a bully. It's been banned in my house. I get the feeling it's popular, but I could be wrong on that and wouldn't be surprised. I despise Big Mouth. The god-awful character design and the voices make it an absolute chore to just get 1 minute in. I cannot stand Big Mouth. The character designs alone are enough to disgust me. From what I've heard, it isn't even that funny either. Hate is a strong word. A popular show I am disappointed with is Rick and Morty. I really enjoy the first 2 seasons, but something happened in season 3 onward. It's just different, which is weird because it's still Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon's baby. They didn't replace the director or hire a whole new writing staff. Dan and Justin's vision changed. Instead of relying on his wits to overcome obstacles, Rick can just press a button and instantly obliterate any obstacle in his path without any tension. Instead of each character in the Smith family having their own quirks and personalities, they are all just like Rick, with the exception of Jerry, in that they are highly narcissistic and also total sci-fi badasses. Rick literally refers to himself as a god and the smartest man in the universe, yet we are supposed to care about his feelings? Why? And why'd they stop doing interdimensional cable? Pretty much anything Cartoon Network puts out in recent years, it's like they take acid and just write down whatever comes to them. I feel like the last thing I liked from Cartoon Network was Over the Garden Wall. I've been watching Adventure Time because everyone I know loves it, and I never watched it as a kid. I don't hate it, but I'm a little disappointed. Many of the characters are unlikable, including many main characters besides Finn. The way that these characters act in horribly rude or downright selfish ways that inevitably cause more problems is grating. It makes it hard to watch at times. There are attempts at redeeming some of these characters, but they continue to just go back to their original behavior. The storyline is interesting and I will finish it. I'm on season 8, but it's not going down as a favorite. Tons of shows like this one hold nostalgia value for those that watched it as kids, so I'm missing that bias. I think the fact that most characters have really questionable morality makes them more realistic tbh. Rick and Morty. Hate isn't a strong enough word. It's just not funny, and that disgusting slurpy noise that the grandpa makes. I can't. It lacks subtlety and complexity. That's why I hate it. The characters are annoying too. Bob's Burgers. It's completely unfunny to me and it just looks like the entire thing is based on awkward situations. The moment the kids come off as incredibly annoying, it makes me feel like I'm crazy cause everyone seems to think the opposite. Seasons 1-8 of SpongeBob are great. Seasons 9 and beyond are a highly efficient method of killing one's brain cells with cringe and stupidity. Bob's Burgers. I don't like the art style or the humor. Most of the voice actors also sound pretty annoying. Although I did like that one Archer crossover they did, but that was more of an Archer episode with a Bob's Burger cameo. Unpopular opinion. Brace yourself. I really didn't like Regular Show. It was just 80s references and the same jokes over and over and over. Steven Universe. I hear everyone say it's the best thing since Teen Titans or Regular Show, and I absolutely hate it. Before any of you say I'm just joining the bandwagon, I didn't. I actually gave the show a chance, and like the Star Wars sequels, I hated it. Sophia the First. That girl is way too spoiled and every problem she faces, some side character helps and sucks up to her. I grew up on Saturday morning cartoons like Tom and Jerry, so most Disney movies are too sanitized to be entertaining to me. Not sure how popular it is, but Ren and Stimpy. That crap's not a kids show. I mainly don't like the way it's portrayed. Like, yeah, okay, this is something you should put your toddler in front of. I absolutely despise the Patrick Star Show. It has no plot in the episodes I've seen so far. I have no problem with randomness in cartoons. I'm a big fan of The Amazing World of Gumball. But the Patrick Star Show takes it to an intolerable level. And why Patrick? His stupidity was funny the first few times in SpongeBob. But now, he's just stupid for the sake of being stupid. It's painfully obvious that Nickelodeon is just milking the franchise and it's disappointing. I don't like He-Man. Husband loved the original to the point of obsession and pretty much begged me to watch this new one with him. But I just hate it. I watched the original and I was bored the whole time. People are saying positive things about the new one, but I just don't care at all, and the more he asks me to watch it the more I dislike it. Very unpopular opinion incoming. Never got into Peanuts. I don't hate it, as much as wonder why it was popular for so long. Never thought it was very funny with most of the humor targeted towards boomers and 60s 70s themes. Very little character development. The animated shows were generally poorly animated, seemed to drag on forever and then end too quickly. The wah-wah noise parents made felt like a cop-out. And then I'm not sure what Snoopy has to do with selling life insurance. I was blessed with Calvin and Hobbes in the prime of my adolescence, though. I keep my opinion that I'm neutral towards Peanuts Private out of fear of being disowned. Daniel Tiger and other current kids shows. Why? It's not Bluey. Bluey was the first current day kids show I watched with my 2-year-old. It's the only one I can stand and keep it on after he goes to bed sometimes. Teen Titans Go. Need I say more? Yes. 1. The amount faux fart jokes is too high. 2. Hating on the British by saying tea mesmerized people. 3. The amount of cringe songs is also too high. Hating on the British. Haven't seen Go, but the original series had a whole episode with Mad Mod where American patriotism saves the day, so it's not without precedent. Boruto just kept escalating to crappy levels and it just shoots on Naruto. Rick and Morty. Rick is always right and Morty goes through so many crap to prove Rick right. Zero just torture PF Subaru. Like anytime he tries to do good he gets killed, and I swear the author is just jerking off on how many ways he can make Subaru suffer. Frick Boruto. I could never get into DBZ. It bored the crap out of me. Also, NCIS. It feels like it can't decide if it wants to be more dramatic or irreverent and tries too hard to be both. If they could make the two tones work together, it wouldn't be so bad, but they clash too much. Also, Gibbs is a douche. Oh yes, NCIS, the popular cartoon. I freaking hate the Loud House, man. All of the characters are just bland, freaking one note, dead horse stereotypes. If it weren't a cartoon, it would probably be a one season late at night sitcom that only suburban wasps watch. Even though I hate it, I will give it props for having openly LGBT+ characters, but that doesn't make the show worse nor better for me. I also freaking hate Bob's Burgers. The characters are annoying as crap. Every adult cartoon nowadays is a crappy freaking sitcom that tries to be like The Simpsons and Family Guy. Why can't the adult cartoons be more like BoJack Horseman? The Loud House recently had a special where Lincoln was transferred to a school in Canada because he wanted a different teacher. Not only that, but they used Canadian stereotypes to advance the plot. Everything in that show is just stereotypes and I don't get how anyone likes it. Steven Universe. It started off with potential, then got really cringe and bad. Then the fans. Holy frick, the fans. I hate that show. Tried watching it multiple times. When I was a little kid, Fairly Odd Parents was my freaking jam. Favorite show ever. I tried to watch it again as an adult. In my free time I study drawing and animation stfu, and it was complete, but it has its moments and it's better than Jimmy Neutron, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and pretty much every Disney show except Jackie Chan Adventures. But it's still literal pure butt. I watched like 30 episodes of it thinking maybe it gets better, but it doesn't. List of my favorite cartoons: Avatar: Last Airbender, Danny Phantom, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Ed, Edd n Eddy, early regular show, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Scooby-Doo movies. I excluded adult animations. In my free time I study drawing and animation stfu. Dude, never feel like you have to apologize for the things that make you happy. I'm 41F with no kids and will happily watch Doc McStuffins or Sophia the First because it's cute and fun and I enjoy it. Steven Universe and Uncle Grandpa. SU because it has a very bad ending and abused of the depression to excuse things. I think BoJack Horseman is a better example of how to treat mental problems in a cartoon. BoJack didn't have a good ending, but at least you understand what not to do when you have mental problems. UG. Well, it is freaking senseless, and it isn't funny. I mean, Flapjack was nonsense too, but at least was entertaining and funny. BoJack had the best ending of a show I've seen in a long time. It was the realistic ending, and the most painful one for BoJack. Nothing will ever be the same for him at the end. He gets the East of Eden ending, which is the best and most satisfying one of all. I'm going to be crucified for this, but She-Ra and the Princesses of Power reboot. Everyone loves it, and I for the life of me can't understand why. 1. Catra is abusive, but the writers can't let the ship die, so they get together at the end. 2. The show doesn't commit to the Horde being powerful, so in one moment the Horde will be decimating villages, and in the next they'll be getting hit with leaves. I honestly feel like the only good thing about the show is its character designs and GSRM representation. 1. The Adventure Time. Except for the romantic relationship, I hate almost everything in that cartoon. 2. Bear. Self-centered character with minimal mental development. 3. Looney Tunes episode that have Daffy Duck. Family Guy. I absolutely loved it when I was younger. Now, I find it to be the laziest, preachiest show ever written, with probably only 1 or 2 laughs every episode. If anime counts as cartoon, My Hero Academia is just cringe. It's a cool concept, but the actual show is awful to me. Community is worse. Regular show gets on my nerves. I got sick of the 2 epic bros who fist bump and say dude awesome and get into mundane but wacky misadventures cartoon template that seemed to be so popular for a while after Adventure Time. Regular show is the epitome of it. I'd have loved it if I were the right age for it though. I'll give it that. Steven Universe. The fandom bullied someone into attempting suicide because they drew one of the character's skin color wrong. Not the cartoon itself, but some characters and how the fandom views some of them. Steven Universe. Like, I don't understand why everyone hates Rose but loves the diamonds. Provided there's a few who do still dislike them. But it's as if Rose was the one still controlling a race of gems and the diamonds were the liberators. Technically Rose had a better redemption arc than them by a long shot. People only hate her because we saw her story in reverse. If the show was about Rose Quartz instead of Steven, then we would have loved her by the end. Characters like Spinel and Bismuth would have been written off as plot holes or unfortunate but understandable situations. Greg, Steven's dad, absolutely horrible father. Like, that man had no business being a dad. I see him being a great eccentric uncle. But other than that one snow episode with baby Steven, he was just an overall bad dad. Foster's home for imaginary friends. Blue is such an annoying and selfish little maniac. If something doesn't go wrong because of him, there's a 75% chance he'll make things worse. I don't know if I hate it, but I get such mixed feelings about Adventure Time. It has such amazing setup for real, honest to god conflicts and character development, but the writers just never know how to resolve a character arc in any meaningful way. Whoa, Jake has kids now. This will have serious implications for his character's development as a whole. Maybe he'll become more mature and... Nope, wait, they're all fully grown and out of the house by episode end. Holy crap. Finn lost an arm? How will he cope with such a loss? How will him and his father resolve this? Will this lead to exposition on his origin? Nope. He just magically regains the arm in a one-off episode about a bee. Also, his father was literally erased from the plot before any meaningful exchange could happen between the two. I kinda hate it because there's so much potential gone to waste. It's so hit or miss on whether or not they actually explore the amazing setups they've created for characters and world building. It's like the writers really wanted to have character development and conflict, but also really wanted to be able to just go back to the status quo whenever they wanted to make unrelated filler episodes. I stopped watching around the 4th season, so maybe this gets better, but it's just such a pet peeve. I hate Family Guy because of a South Park episode. There was an episode making fun of how it's not well written and the cutaways aren't funny and make no sense. After watching, I went back to watching Family Guy and slowly realized that the show is pretty bad. I don't hate it, but I've always believed that Family Guy is horribly inconsistent and is far inferior to American Dad. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.